Hello, everybody. I think we're on live on air. The little live on air lights come on in the corner, so that normally means we're live on air. So, hello and welcome to the first of what might turn out to be a series of little short shows. Probably, just me and some of the gang hanging out and chatting to you guys that are in chat. Tonight we have, in no particular order, the order that they're on my screen. We've got Terry from Smooth's Workshop.
Good evening, people.
He's there, sitting there. He's got his dinner ready. You can see that on the table.
Yeah,
he's not dished it up yet. So we're waiting for that. We've got Steve from it's Totally Scale Models, isn't it?
Evening. How are we doing?
Good. He's painting some Aztec markings on an Enterprise. So yeah. And also we've got Vincent, Mr. Loth Model Making.
Hello. Good evening.
Also we've got a big plate of screws.
I'm gonna start assembling
war hamsters.
Yeah.
War hamsters.
Yeah. Right. So yes, that's the four of us here tonight. There might be more popping in later, or might be some of these going in a bit. But I reckon probably an hour or so this sort of show just to hang out with you lot and chat. But there's enough live streams going on all over the internet throughout the model making world, so you don't really need another one. But I do this chatting on e-models, so I thought I might as well do some on my own channel. So, in the chat we have me and Smo talking to each other before anyone else got in. Radix come in, say hello, as has Steve at Totally Scale Models. Bill Drat Models is in, and Raging Bassist, Drought and Chard, and Jamie Bone come in just before I was just about to scroll down a bit. So, we've got a few people in here, and Sprueglue's in there saying hello, Christopher. I must be in trouble if he's calling me Christopher.
Oh dear.
I'm only ever Christopher if I'm in trouble. That's never a good sign. Right, so what's everybody been saying in chat? Raging Bassy says, sweet, I've got some pretty cools I'd like to share with you guys too. Is that cool news or stuff or what? Tell us more. We're all on tenterhooks waiting to find out what's going on there. Drought and Child went through some boxes today, found some lost treasures. Is that actual treasure or just stuff that probably rubbish, but you haven't thrown it out yet?
Yeah, they just are. Yeah,
because they are. What's a pirate's favourite letter?
R.
No, it's C, because they're on the sea.
All right, okay.
Bill Dratmore was asking what we found. Raging Base said 3 weeks off and has been working on D&D miniatures. Some have come out very nice. Oh, nice. D&D miniatures, yeah.
Dragons and Dungeons, or Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons, yeah. It's got to be that way round. It doesn't sound right the other way round.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. It's some things only sound right that way round. I mean, things like Chaz and Dave. You can't say Dave and Chaz. Yes. You can't say any of it now because one of them died. But
you can't say Adam and Ant, I mean.
Yeah, but you always have the individual and then the group. That's just the way it works, isn't it? It's always
Adam and the Ant.
Adam from Destin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris is in.
Chris Cameron's in. Gang won't be able to stay long. Thanks again for watching my video. Yeah, he was on yesterday. He got a bit worried when I said that I was going to do my show at 8 because he was doing his at 8 yesterday for building his R2 live. It's very brave building an R2 live. That worries me. I build mine and film it, but I'm filming it and I know that nobody's actually watching live. But
make mistakes.
You still make mistakes, and I still show my mistakes because that's what I do. There's no point in cutting them all out. But
I watched you and the other Chris doing your R2s once, and it was like, where does this bit go?
Yeah. Sergeant Bones is in saying, "Oi." I don't know if that's because I missed him, but you weren't there. You got in late, so
I think Sarge's got man flu.
Oh, right. Raging Basis says, cool news. Sorry, he's very tired and his brain's going faster than his fingers. Well, as long as your brain's still going, then that's not too bad yet. On Monday, we were actually in the dungeon and killed a dragon. Very apt. As long as you killed it. I used to be the GM for our D&D team at school.
Ah, right, okay.
But there's only like 3 or 4 of us anyway, and it didn't ever go very deep. But yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. I had some miniatures. I really should find them somewhere. They're sitting in my parents'
Some I've never played. Yeah.
They used to be made out of lead.
Yeah.
Not allowed to do that anymore.
White metal.
Sprueglu says he's just amazed that I got the correct date for tonight's show. I found out why. When you go to the YouTube thing and click create a future event, you click on the date and it doesn't change. You have to do it twice. You
Yeah.
have to click on the date and then change it, and then go back and do it again and change it, or it doesn't actually change it.
I have the
sets it for the day.
same problem setting up times sometimes as well.
Yeah, so if you're not paying attention, it will get the wrong day. But it's not my fault. It's all down to YouTube. Never my fault.
Likely story.
Yeah, Sergeant Bones is under the weather at the moment. Too much coughing and so. Yeah.
2000 AD.
Ooh.
Ooh.
AD RPG. I vaguely remember there being that. I had, again, a lead Lawbringer. That was really cool. The news is he's passed his first college assessment. Woohoo! What did you do? What are you doing at college? Is it
Something technical.
cooking? I reckon it's cooking.
Cooking.
Anyone else got any votes as to what it's going to be?
Bricklaying.
Craft and design.
Graphic design, yeah. Vincent,
Mm-hmm.
what's Raging Basis doing at college?
I wouldn't know.
No, we don't know. We're guessing.
Music.
We're guessing. Fuck it. Insurance, because I'm in it.
Is a clue in the bassist? Is he doing music?
That could be. Or is he just angry?
But then, yeah.
Yeah. Rusting Custom Models is here. Hey, guys. And Phil Lewis says he just walked past it. Because he's passed his first college assessment, right? Yeah. So he left it on the floor and just went past it.
I thought it was jumped in there. Sarge. Sex theory. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sex theory. The theory is never important. It's the practical that's the important subject in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zoology. Patisserie. Oh, see, I was right. Cooking. See? How good am I? I've always done music. I think you probably mentioned it somewhere in the past, and it's probably stuck in my mind that was what it was.
Maybe you can do a cake that looks like a piano.
Yeah, well, he says he's already done music, and he's still done music studies. So you're sort of right as well. That means you have to change your name from Raging Bassist to sort of Baking Bassist or something.
Or Raging Cake Flinging Bassist.
Congratulations on passing your assessment. Well done. Is that, do you have to cook something and they taste it, and if it's any good, they let you pass, or if it isn't, they don't?
Bake a lemon tart, and if it sticks to the ceiling, it passes.
You're doing something wrong if you're not meant to flip tarts, are you? That's pancakes. You got them confused.
No, I'll just throw them at the ceiling and see what sticks.
Why would you do that?
You could just get a selection of patisseries and see which ones stick to the ceiling and which ones.
Why have you got a banana on your plate? That's not Chinese.
Don't know.
Fuck me, smooth eating healthy.
Is it deep fried? It's got to be deep fried, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's actually filled with deep fried marshmallows.
One minute a TARDIS was there, next minute a banana's there. Don't know.
Bananas.
Chef bassist, yeah.
Chef bassist, yeah. Bake the thing. Did it turn out okay? Yes, good. Off you pop.
Banana fritters, yeah. I'll go and make some fritters of banana.
Yeah, you can just fry it. I know you've got a deep fat fryer next to you there, because you're never one arm's length away from a deep fat fryer in Scotland, are you?
It's something I don't own.
Shane Young's in. Hello. Hi, Shane. I haven't painted my other R2 yet. I built him. My fourth R2D2.
If you don't own... Oh, sorry, Chris. If you don't own a deep fried dough, Teddy, how do you get your necessary food and nutrition, mate? Because you're Scottish. You need deep fried food. It's a nutritionary base element for Scotland.
Mate.
Oh, yeah.
He orders it in.
I dial a number and a wee man comes to the door and goes, "Here is your deep fried food for you, sir." And I go, "Thank you very much." And I hand him some pound sterling and he walks away again.
What are these pound sterling you talk about?
Yeah. What?
They might be almost foreign in Scotland to us, but they still use real money.
Yeah.
They try and use their other foreign stuff as well that's got that picture of Wonder Woman on it. But
so when you go down to England with your Scottish notes and it's like, "Oh, can't you take them? I think you'll find it's legal tender hen."
What the hell's this? You got two different fivers now.
I don't have a fiver in my wallet.
Because there's one that's got that picture of Wonder Woman on it, and another one's got some bald bloke on it.
Probably the Clydesdale Bank one.
I don't know. Scottish. It says sterling on it, so we figure it's probably okay. But I wouldn't know a fake one because they all look fake.
Yeah, it looked through the hologram bit of the clear bit, and yeah, there's quite a lot I'm going about. Yeah, I've got my own brew. I've not got any haggis tonight. Yeah. Haggis, food of the angry gods.
Yeah, I'll brew saying haggis and iron brew. Yeah.
Yeah, some people think haggis is awful, but it's not. It's lovely.
I can't stand haggis or that black pudding stuff and anything like that.
A bit of lung and sheep's heart and spicy oatmeal and
yeah, no, I had what was it? We went to a Brazilian barbecue thing we got around the corner at work, and they bring out meat on skewers and just sort of keep slicing bits off and then bugger off and then come back with a different thing and just keep slicing things off and until you tell them, please stop bringing me food. They had something like salted pigeon hearts or something. It was really like a small heart thing, and I tried it because I'm not. I won't say, "Oh, that's horrible," without trying it, but I did try it and I didn't like it. It was too salty and it just wasn't. No.
Don't like liver, but I don't mind patty, so that's a contradiction in terms.
No, again, I don't like liver, but pate, yeah, I'll do pate. But
yeah, same here.
I don't like kidneys, like some steak kidney pie, but I can have a steak pie. But
no, I don't like kidneys, and steak and kidney pie, I will push the kidney bits off to one side and not eat them.
I'll do you one worse. I don't eat liver, yet I'll eat foie gras, no problem.
I don't think I've ever tried that. That sounds a bit posh.
I only take the biological stuff because the force-fed ones that you can get, you know, where they basically force-feed them grain so the liver gets really, really big. It tastes naff, that.
Oh, it's the best one.
Blue's giving it.
Nah, the organic one.
Sort of pigeon heart. Yeah, it might not have been pigeon, but there's lots of pigeons around town, so it could have been. It's easy.
I was like you with the black pudding. It was like when I knew it was made of blood, it's like I'm not touching that. But some of the black pudding.
Yeah, no, I just don't like it. I've tried it and I don't like it.
Known. Even before I tried eating, we would call. Actually, it's called blood sausage over here, so it's kind of like.
It's good. Can't really blame it. Graham Presswood's in. He says, "Did you have the red and green cards, Chris?" Yeah, they use one like a coaster thing, and you just turn it over, and when it's red, they still bring you food, but it doesn't seem to work. The green side, you're meant to leave that up, and then they just come. But then you turn it over to the red, and they still come around and say, "Do you want some of this?" And it's like, "Go on, then. You made a walk all the way over here from the kitchen." Yeah.
He's trying to eat a lasagna. Yeah. A wee bit of sheep's lung, a bit of heart.
It's not in lasagna. What?
Yeah. Well, it's in haggis though. And then take a sheep's stomach, scoop all the crap out of it, and then put the haggis in there and boil it up. It's lovely. Yeah,
no, I'm general sort of offal I don't like. But I don't like prawns, but prawn cocktail crisps are lovely.
You like scampi fries or no? They make your
fingers... I don't like scampi fries. No, I don't like them.
Make your fingers smell funky.
Yeah, no, I don't like them. No.
That's not scampi fries that does that, Terry.
Spid's in saying E up. E up. He'll say E up. He's further north than that, though, isn't he?
E up, Chuck.
He'd say it more like Terry does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound Scottish.
He doesn't, but he's more Scottish than you at the moment, isn't he? Or
he's in the Isle of Skye. He's an islander.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Hold on,
stop talking about him. Good evening.
Hello.
Hey.
Well, we're just saying you didn't sound very Scottish.
No.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I am the essence of Scottishness, I am.
Yeah. Would that be an English Scottishness?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What talks?
What part?
I'm originally from Yorkshire.
See.
Yeah, that's almost Scotland. From as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much Scotland, isn't it?
Oh, Newcastle's like Scotland because you can't understand a word they say either.
Anything north of Watford is pretty much.
Watford, God.
Bloody hell, Chris.
Anything north of London is basically like, dodgy.
Sergeant Bones says, speaking of Scottish, seen the video of Gerard Butler explaining Scottish phrases. I've seen one a while back. I don't know if that was who it was, but yeah, I've seen some of explaining Scottish phrases, and someone did something for Australian as well.
There's a wee Chinese guy that does it. Is like, today I'm going to teach you some words for Edinburgh, and today I'm going to teach you some for Glasgow and all that sort of thing. It's quite funny.
Well, Glasgow's a whole other planet when it comes to languages.
Yeah, Ouija's.
It's,
Yeah.
That's kind of what my area of Belgium is as well. Like West Flanders is the part of Belgium where all the other Flemish-speaking provinces are like, what the fuck is being said there?
Cool.
that's Glasgow.
Yeah.
Because there's
Everybody in the whole of the UK.
yeah,
Like saying in Glasgow. Not a
same
clue.
idea over here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, Colin's in the chat. He's on another stream. I
Yeah.
stuffed up my announcement for tonight. Mark at Spruce Surgeon has got a
Yeah.
stream going tonight.
Colin and I have been swapping places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have taken the slot that someone else had already taken, but I didn't notice. And there's only so many evenings on there, so if you want to go and watch that for a little bit, we'll sit here quietly until you come back. It's fine.
I'll probably disappear about past and jump onto Mark's, and then that lets Colin get in here for a wee while.
No, it's like
So what's everyone been up to?
We're a tag team. What have I been up to? I've been in the spray booth. I've done lots of spraying today on my Peterbilt truck.
Warhammers.
What's the spraying on the what, Terry?
My Peterbilt truck that I've...
Oh, cool. Right.
and,
big truck.
I'm making a cafe racer out of my Z9.
Yes, I've been looking at the updates on that. It's looking really nice. I
So
like it.
I've got all... What's quite funny is the yellow Steinores primer.
Mm.
It looks really cool on the chrome frame, and I'd actually thought of keeping it that colour. I'm going to go a metallic green. I put all the tins on the bike just to see what it would look like, and it looks quite cool. The yellow, it's quite retro. What's an off yellow? It's a.
Is it right? Said I don't know if it's your light there, but it looks a bit sort of like a bit pansy yellow. It might just be that it's a little bit dark when you held it up to the camera.
All right, there you go.
Oh yeah, it's actually brighter than I thought.
It's the same as that banana. It's banana yellow.
It's more a cream because it's not as yellow.
I don't know. There's a hint more green in the banana.
That's what I did, Chris. He slapped it where banana was.
That might be what it was.
It's
Yeah.
not as yellow as the
A
yellow.
bit of dry brushing on the edges of green to give it a bit more of a banana flavour.
That's yellow. That's like yellow, and that's like cream.
Yeah, it's definitely off yellow, off white yellow. It's probably got a name in some decorator's colour.
Yeah, magnolia or
No,
something.
no.
Yeah. So.
Have
yeah,
you got a new camera, Speed? You seem sharper than normal.
No, it's my phone
Right.
rather than the tablet because the tablet's a bit old and.
Right. It's just working properly because
Maybe-
you're normally a little bit
on the
not so
probably.
much out of focus, but a bit pixely and freeze frame, stop motion.
Right. Yeah,
Working really well
I normally use the tablet, but the tablet's a bit old and past it. So.
Right. Yeah, Trout and Trout says Citadel would probably call it Beyond Hope yellow.
Beyond hope, yeah.
I was thinking more of Running Away yellow. or
To
something
be
like
fair, I have to say I don't think Vallejo gets enough credit when it comes to naming their fantasy range of paints because he gets some silly ones there as well.
that. I haven't
Do you know
got any
what?
fantasy
The Vallejo ones. I like the Citadel ones because they have some great names, but I've not looked. I've only seen sort of Vallejo's normal colours.
Yeah, I've not got any of their fantasy colours. I like the air ones, and the mecha colours I picked up are quite good, but they got boring names as well. So
I know you did a review on some of the mecha colours when you were doing. Was it the Zaku you used?
yeah, when I did the Zaku, I used the mecha colours on that. They're really nice. They're really sort of thick pigments, so it
Right.
literally doesn't matter what primer you use; it's going to cover it over.
Very good.
Even the really really pale green that's almost white, putting it over black primer, it goes on a couple of coats and it's easy.
I got a bunch of Vallejo Air recently. Bought a lot of paints, and there's a bunch of Vallejo Air, and there's some. What are the others?
When you say you bought a lot of paints, did you mean you bought a lot of
Yeah,
paints, or you bought a lot of paints?
A lot, as in a quantity. Not a lot.
Not
Well,
a lot.
there was both a lot, and it was a lot.
I gaggle.
But there's a few of these in it as well.
Did you get a few paints
One
there?
of which is that blue that I've used.
Oh right, yeah. Which paints are they? You're showing the camera at the back of them, not the front.
Blah.
Oh, hang about. Let me click on that one.
Is that a one?
Oh, the MiG. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because spraying it, if you tried laying it down in thin coats, it just didn't want to play at all. You have to kind of like curl it on so it looks like it's going to puddle and not do anything. And then it sort of settles down into everything as it dries. Unusually. Which is not something I'm a bit...
Is it not the MiG ones that they say you have to do lots of really thin misty coats?
I have heard that, but it certainly didn't work on this. I'd laid down, when I did the blue on this, I'd laid down several coats, and it was just going down dusty and crappy looking.
All right.
And it would have been okay, it'd have been passable on a bit of armour or something. But to get a reasonably smooth kind of coat on, all I could do was just lay down a thick coat and let it settle, which seemed to do the trick. So, you know.
Yeah, you do get certain paints of theirs that are like that.
But that was only that one colour I've tried so far. So, you know, it could just be a one-off. I don't know. It might just be that one colour.
Do you think I've got my time machine the right colour of blue? I think that's about the right.
Oh, I like the flashy light. That's cool.
The police boxes are that many different colours.
It's not too dark on the camera though. So you pull it back under the light, Terry.
Oh, you want me to put it under this camera?
Or just so I can see the blue in the light, because up close to the camera it looks quite dark. Oh yeah, I'd say that's pretty much spot on.
So I managed to get it finished. I've got my time machine finished, so I'll fair chuff for that.
Yeah.
Has
I
anybody,
like the flashing light. That's good.
has anybody seen the joke thing where the new female doctor on the first series has crashed the TARDIS into the side of the building?
Oh, with it half sticking outside of a building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that is, but it looks quite cool.
It's quite a cool wee joke.
It's a pretty old picture.
Has it started yet, the new series with the female doctor?
Yeah, it started on Sunday.
Yeah,
The
it
first
started
first
Not Monday.
episode
Is it
on
is
Sunday.
it any good? Did anyone watch it?
I watched it. Yeah, I quite like Doctor Who anyway, but it's good. Yeah, it was a bit different. The first one's always difficult because it's not really. She hasn't got the role yet. She hasn't really, grown into herself.
Yeah.
And in the episode, she's sort of suffering with having just been regenerated and not really sort of grown into her body yet. So that sort of fits in with the story.
So she's just kind of getting into a role. It's just introduction of the character.
Yeah, I mean, she's sort of like just discovering, oh, I'm a woman this time, and I don't know who I am, and keeps forgetting her name, but yeah, it works.
She'll need to take some driving lessons, or do you drive that thing, or do you pilot it?
Well, it's missing at the moment, or broken, or blown up, or something.
Oh dear.
At the end of the last one, it sort of kicked her out and either blew up or disappeared, or I don't remember. But she didn't have it at all in the first episode.
Or I don't remember.
I don't remember what happened at the end of the last season.
It's a time machine, not. I mean, it sort of shows it flying through space, but is it actually flying, or is it stationary and things are walking around?
Well, it definitely turns around because it does that in the titles.
Well, it's like that old. Was it black and white or was it colour? The original time machine where the guy's got the big jewel and he screws it in and he fast forwards it and he's sitting in his greenhouse.
Yep. Yeah. The time machine.
That's the H.G. Wells one, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the Moloch and the Eloi. Yeah. That's a brilliant story. That
was quite clever, because he's still in the same spot, but all the landscape's changing round about him.
Yeah, I remember there was one bit of it where as he was travelling back through time, there was one bit where he was actually encased in a rock face.
That's right, yeah.
Through everything. Yeah, it's a clever story, that one.
Sarge has asked me what about the interior of the TARDIS. I used about 6 gallons of Dulux emulsion to paint inside it, mate. It's shocking.
Yeah, we've heard it before. It was moderately amusing the first time, I think.
It's all relative. Yeah.
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 Time and space. Yeah.
I've been doing the war hamsters as well. The boat, shiny boat thing.
That's
the UMP gloss black primer.
It takes a while to dry that because I've done a lot of my Peterbilt with that. It takes a good couple of days to let that.
I did
cure.
this. Where was it? Probably last night, and it took a dry and fairly normal UMP drying time. It sort of looked dry in about half hour.
Takes a bit longer than standard.
Doing any sort of metallic finishes or anything on it?
On that one, not at the moment. I'm going to be doing it. I think I'm going to do metallic black and gold. I'm trying to figure out. I've never done any sort of like feathering, so I'm going to do the top black and the bottom gold, and try and blend the two to make.
He's a bit of a fake brushes than using feathers, though, Chris.
I don't know. I think you put them in your airbrush, don't you? You just feed them in one at a time. That's what I've heard. I'll try it, but I'll try it on Sunday when I do another live stream for it.
It's, something might be worth a watch if you do a search for a guy called Ed Hubbs on YouTube.
Ed Hubbs,
and he actually does airbrush art on vehicles. He's an American guy. Ed Hubbs, Hubbs, I think.
All right, I like big Hubbs. I can't lie.
And he does airbrush art on vehicles. And I'm sure there's one or two of his sort of tutorial videos where he covers feathering and things.
All right. I get the idea. The theory is basically just do a lot at the bottom and a little bit at the top, and the top will be not as dark as the bottom, which makes sense to me. And I think if I'm doing black and gold, I think if I primed it in black, so if I do the gold first, and then I can do some black over the top, and that should go over the gold quite well where it needs to, and sort of link them in. But I don't. You've seen my videos. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. So if it comes out well, it does. If it doesn't, then I've messed up so somebody else doesn't have to. So
absolutely.
Wait. Most of the time, there's actually points where you do know what you're doing, Chris.
No, I make it look like I know what I'm doing.
Right. No. Magic of editing.
Yeah, that's right. Sooner or later, it's bound to happen. Sprugro Addict says, "Am I still using my 3D printer much? Not as much as I should, really. It was a new toy, and I started doing it, and then I sort of stopped. I've done a couple of little bits here and there, but Spid's got one. He's been doing more than me.
Yeah.
What's that?
3D printing.
Oh, the printing. As I've actually got something printing at the moment. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but I've kind of. I went through that initial phase. I was like printing everything. So like just find a file, print it, find a file, print it, you know. So I've currently got a pile of stuff that I'm waiting to paint. And I've come to a little bit of a standstill because I'm trying not to print stuff at the moment because I'm just getting a pile of stuff that's building up that I need to start painting. So I want to get a few of those painted and out of the way before I start printing other stuff. But I've got loads of really, really cool sort of figures and busts.
Mine doesn't seem to have the quality that I've seen in a lot of your stuff. I get a lot more layers and lines than you seem to. But
have you tried? Because I've found with mine. I mean, I know the ANET or ANET is an older thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen online some prints that are every bit as good a quality as the end.
Yeah. I'll have to play around with it and try and figure it out.
With the settings. I mean, for example,
I see Reese's popped in chat. He says, "Evening, guys. Would have joined you on the stream, but he's not been in from long in from work, and it's been a very long day apparently."
Just a quick one.
Take it easy, Reese.
Spidey gets back and carries on with saying, I promised Mark I would pop into his show, so I've sort of done half an hour on yours. I'm going to do half an hour on his. Not
a problem. Thank you for popping in, Terry. See you sometime.
Colin and I might be doing an insomnia later on, so
I might be asleep.
Right. So I'm going to pop over to Spruce Surgeons. And
no problem. Thanks for popping in. See you, Terry.
This little guy. I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see it's very sort of.
It's very similar to Warhammer, isn't it?
It's Warhammery kind of size, and it's a Thingiverse file, and it's titled Snipers, and there's two in the set, and this was standard 0.4 nozzle, but printed at a 0.08 layer height, and a lot of it's in the settings, fiddling about with the settings.
Yeah, right. Must have had a lot of supports on that though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the support's sort of up under the legs, under the barrel of the gun there, up under the arm, and this flappy bit of coat that's sticking up. But see, that's another thing I've found as well as your supports. I've done all sorts of messing around and experimenting. And if you open up do you use Cura?
Yeah, normally, yeah.
Well, if you go into your settings in Cura, there's a ream of options.
Yeah.
So you go under supports in your standard settings, click on the little cog, and there's a ream of options. And when you start juggling those around, you can find all sorts of different settings, which you sort of have to print a few things, get a feel for them, and juggle them between prints. I've found there is no like magic setting. And one of the things I've noticed, and one of the things I sort of half expected when I first started with the 3D printing, was that there would be a couple of really good overall profiles. But there isn't. Every print needs a little bit of tweaking here and there. And there's a profile called the SciPy profile for minis, which is basically what I use to print this, but with a few little tweaks here and there. And I mean, you look at this, and you can see, if you get a magnifying glass and look close up, you can actually see the layer lines. But at that kind of distance, looking at it, it's really, really hard to see any layer lines. And I don't see why your printer couldn't manage the same.
Yeah, I did.
I'll tell you what.
I did a figure that was that sort of size, and it's not bad. It's fine, but when you put paint on it, it shows some of the lines a little bit better, a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's one of the downsides. Is as soon as you put paint on, the lines are a little bit more visible.
There you go. Let's. I should be able. To
yeah, I mean that doesn't look bad. So,
yeah, you can see bits that aren't quite right, but
still looks right.
Yeah, it's what'd be interesting is I wonder if I sent you the G code for that one that I used to print that.
Well, the G code wouldn't work because it's a different printer in it. That's the thing that the printer actually gets.
It is, yeah, but if you
treats it the way the motors work is different for different.
Oh, right.
So it might print it, wider left and right and up and down. But I'll have a look at the STI for it.
I mean, I could well, obviously send the STL and with the settings, or as many of the settings as I could note down, that I can just see if yours can.
How long did it take to print?
That particular one was about an hour and 40 minutes.
All right, so not any worrying time.
Not very long. I mean, it's tiny, but it's solid. It's 100% infill, basically.
All right, yeah.
But it's tiny. It's like 4 grams of filament or something.
What did you say it was called?
Snipers, it's called.
Snipers.
It's
I should make a note and look for it.
And there's two. There's this fella that's pointing. He's holding his gun and he's pointing. It's a bit sort of Germanic looking with a gas mask.
All right, yeah.
There's one that's holding the rifle, targeting, and there's one that's sort of stood in a Iron Maiden rock pose and pointing like this one.
I'll have a look and see, download that and play with it a little bit. But
just curious to see, because I don't, as far from what I've read, I don't think that, I don't see any reason why yours wouldn't be able to print it as good as this one.
Yeah, I'll have a play. Regin Basis says he needs to get a Cylon rifle from the 70s figures printed. He's not paying £30 for one, but he's got a dash. See you later. Have fun. So yeah, we won't be here for a long time, but see you another night. Good night. Bye. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Cylon rifle.
Thanks for popping in.
Is that? I've not seen.
Yeah, I don't know. From the old 70s figures, he said. So I'm assuming he means they're, the figures, like action figures. They were probably 12-inch at then, weren't they? So he's obviously, I don't know. He's gone now. So
that'd be interesting. Well, I've never seen any of the new Battlestar Galactica.
Well, he said from the 70s, the old 70s figures. So I'm thinking he means from the original series.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what the rifles look like.
they probably had a World War II rifle that they glued a bit of hairdryer on the side of or something, and
this is true. Yes, yeah.
They wouldn't have designed one from scratch.
Technical than Doctor Who. A little bit better than Doctor Who with the sort of paintable Wellingtons for the Cybermen and stuff.
Yeah, and the sets that if you walk past too hard, they fall over. Yeah.
Shake, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were quite that bad. I watched the original Battlestar Galactica a few years ago now again, and
Right.
it sort of stands up. It's different, but it's all right. It was always more about the sort of relationships and the story than.
Yeah. I think with sci-fi you get that, don't you? It's more a good story and good characters will hold up with bad scenery.
Yeah, it just happens to be in space rather than in a Western or in wherever.
Yeah.
Or...
And plus you've not got quite so many things to date it. Like if you watch old reruns of Knight Rider and things, you've got all that like huge 80s hair and big shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And all that, and it really sort of dates it a lot.
Sprue says Buck Rogers was better.
Oh, Buck Rogers.
Yeah. Buck Rogers. Yeah. I was talking to somebody online about Buck Rogers the other day and trying to figure out if the Dr. Theopolis or whatever,
The Professor.
if he was actually, why he was in a drinks canteen or what was going on. But apparently he used to be a person that got put in it. He was an actual doctor. I didn't know if it was a robot that just called doctor, but some sort of intelligence that somehow got sucked into it. I don't remember any of that, but
I don't remember that. I remember. Was it Tweaky the robot?
Tweaky was the little one, Boogie Boogie Boogie.
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember they had sort of cool spaceshipy fighter things, didn't they?
The cool shippy fighter thing that had the two little spiky bits at the front.
Yeah,
it was really nice. I really like a fast little. I don't know what they called it though. I can't. I can visualize the ship, but I can't remember what they called it.
I can't remember what it was called, but I remember that bit. I remember Buck Rogers, and I remember.
Yeah, it was 500 years in the future, wasn't it? It was like 2486 or something. Yeah. Dad's in, Mike Mountain. Evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, she is.
You'll remember Buck Rogers. Yeah, but again, it was more about the story. I'm sure there was probably only like 2 seasons of Buck Rogers total. There's only like 10 episodes of it.
It wasn't long, no.
It's always less than you remember.
It did seem to go on a long time, didn't it?
Yeah, but I bet it didn't.
Probably didn't, no.
I'll look it up. I'll find it.
Watching reruns.
The Internet Movie Database is brilliant for this sort of stuff. You just sort of put in the name of the title and it tells you, yeah, there are only 4 episodes of it ever, but you just remember watching them again and again. Buck Rogers in the 24th and a half century. No, that was Duck Dodgers, wasn't it? Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century. Did a cartoon version that was really, really rubbish. There you go. 1979 to 1981. 32 episodes.
That's like 3 seasons worth.
It was 2 seasons apparently. They got 11. One season was 21 episodes over 2 years, and then the second season was only 11 episodes.
Panned it.
So yeah, he was a NASA pilot or something when he got sucked into a wormhole or frozen in deep space.
Time travelled and all that. Something like that.
They sort of revisited the idea with Farscape.
Yeah, Farscape was the wormhole thing, wasn't it? Yeah, he was the Australian NASA. Yeah.
Talking of good stories, though, I always liked Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap, yeah, that was an interesting idea.
You know, it didn't age.
It was, and the thing about that was as well. It was the kind of thing they could have ended at any point by just bringing him home, but it had so many possibilities by just having him.
Yeah, but he could only go into his lifetime, couldn't he, or something?
No.
It could only do what? Sorry.
He could only jump into a period of time that he had lived through, not at the place that he'd lived through, but it was only during his lifetime. He couldn't go back to before he was born.
Oh, right. Oh, I don't remember that bit.
I'm sure they would think about that.
I thought he was way from the future.
Well, he was from the future technically because he was going back into his past, but he wasn't from way the future, was he? He was only going back over the last 30 years or something.
Sort of modern day, wasn't it?
I thought
But,
I might be reading that, remembering it completely wrong, but
well, it didn't travel into the future that much. I know it only ever sort of leaped back in time, but because it was always in someone else's body, wasn't he? So he was basically his conscience was inhabiting someone else that had existed.
yeah, and he sort of took over there. He didn't know who he was or what he was doing there, but he was there to right or wrong or something, wasn't he? It was one decision that he had to change. Troughton Child says the original Buck Rogers was a comic book, then a Saturday cinema serial with Buster Crabbe as Buck. He also played Flash Gordon.
And it gets isn't Buck Rogers the one that gets parodized a bit in Star Trek Voyager, or is that an even older show?
I don't know. Voyager was all about getting trapped to the other side of the galaxy, wasn't it?
No, but you've got Ensign Paris's holodeck program. What's it called again?
Oh yeah, the that was Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon. Right.
It was effectively Flash Gordon. It was I can't remember what he called it. Yeah, it was the black and white one. Yeah.
For some reason, I can remember Chaotica, the role that Janeway played in that one episode, but I can't remember him.
Well, he was the.
I didn't see that. So I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was one of the sort of ongoing things through like season 4 or 5 or something. It's
starting something like that.
It was an ongoing thing that they did, and they got trapped in it a couple of times, and
a bit along the same lines as
like the Next Generation one with Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, the private eye one. Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought they were quite good. With Moriarty, where he became aware of the holodeck, and
that was interesting. And they ended up giving him his own computer that he ran on, and thought it was the universe or something, didn't he?
Right, yeah.
Spoilers. Sorry.
Yeah, he thought the holodeck, and they gave him a shuttlecraft, and off he went to explore, but he was actually still within the thing, wasn't he? Yeah.
It's Captain Proton.
Captain Proton. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Proton. Dun, 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 dun.
Captain Proton and Buster King.
It was very clever doing it in black and white.
Yeah, well, it was good. That
I think the Doctor appeared in it a couple of times, and he was in colour. He just sort of transferred himself to the holodeck, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he the beings from another dimension one. Yeah,
that
was fun. But the Next Generation one, the private eye one, I can't remember. Nixon something?
It was not Nixon. Dixon.
Dixon or Doc Green?
No, not Dixon. Doc Green. It was. It was based on a book that he liked.
It was something like that. It was like a Dick Tracy kind of, wasn't it?
Dixon Hill. That's the one.
Yeah.
They actually, because like Star Wars, Star Trek has books as well in the extended canon, and there's actually a couple of those stories that they made into actual books, if I'm remembering right.
I know there's a lot of like graphic novels and comic books about them. They did a Doctor Who tie-over, didn't they?
I think there might be a graphic novel actually. Dixon Hill.
Paul DeSpacio has got to get some paints. Take care, guys. Yeah, have fun shopping for paints. Sorry, I noticed you pop in earlier, but I had already done the shout-outs to everybody. So
I used to like watching Firefly.
Firefly was very good. Yeah, that ended too soon, and the film was disappointing.
That was absolutely brilliant. One series, and it was a crime that they stopped that. That was the best sci-fi show ever.
Yeah.
I've heard somewhere that they're bringing out a kit of Serenity.
Right.
I've not seen an actual kit of it, but there's a really nice model on Thingiverse for 3D printing of Serenity.
It's I
have that in me thing ready to print at some point.
I've got the theme tune going through my head now. It's a brilliant song.
Yeah, I know. It's a great show though. I've got the DVD set of that. It's brilliant. I love it. And the movie as well, which I thought was quite good.
It was all right, but it could have been better.
Yeah, I think the problem with the film is a lot of people saw that before they watched the series, because the series was on, and then it was.
I like the series because they sort of started it, and they didn't explain anything, and it was just sort of thrown in, and this is how the world is. We're not going to tell you about any of it. You'll pick it up as you go along, or you won't.
Yeah, the thing with the film was they started the film based on the principle that everyone knew who the characters were from the series.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people had the problem with that of, we don't know who's who and what's happening. You're just kind of trying to put it all together in your head as you're going along.
Yeah. Spruglu says, what about the original series of V? I assume you mean the original mini-series of V, not the TV series that was a bit rubbish. But the original mini-series was really good.
I used to love the TV series.
The series was rubbish.
The original series with Beastmaster guy, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. Not, I'm thinking Harmon,
Mark
but it's not.
The sea, wasn't it?
And the other guy, Ham Tyler.
Yeah, and Freddy Krueger was in it.
Yep. Yeah, he was a visitor, wasn't he?
He was one of the visitors, and the thing I remember was Diana eating the guinea pig, where her jaw sort of dislocated and she stuffed the whole guinea pig down. That was great.
You know,
and
another show I really like, but the CGI hasn't aged well at all. Babylon 5.
I never watched it. It's one of the shows that I always thought I should have watched, but I never actually got around to it and never did.
I didn't see that, but I heard good things about it.
If you can put yourself past the really, really poor CGI when it comes to the space battles, if you can put yourself past that, it's quite good, because the interior decors and stuff like that are really, really well done, and the story is really well thought out.
Trout and Child says it's Mark Singer and Michael Ironsides. So that's who was in it. Kenneth's got a question for us. Kenneth's in. Hi, Kenneth. He says to Speed, what does your tattoo mean? I'm taking it means the one that we can sort of see a bit of around your neck. I'm assuming it says don't cut this off or something. Or
this one here.
Well, I guess it's that one. If he knows about any other tattoos you might have, I don't want to see them on camera.
This one is actually it's hiragana. And it's one of the twin verses of the Dhammapada, which is Buddhist scripture, and it essentially translates as all that we are is a result of what we have thought. It is formed of our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts, and it's essentially one of the central tenets of Buddhism, which is the way that you take things in and the way that you process things reflects on how you produce outwardly. And the most basic central tenet of Buddhism is don't be an arsehole. Not that I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form, but
there's got to be one way or other things to follow, isn't it?
But that's the thing.
I have respect for Buddhism, because as a religion, it is. If I were to follow a specific religion, it would be Buddhism, because.
But that's it, isn't it? Most forms of Buddhism are not a religion, but a life philosophy.
Yeah.
Well, this is true. Yes. Yeah.
It's basically just don't.
But yes, that's what that is. It's part of the Dhammapada, which is Buddhist scripture, and there's a series of twin verses, and that's one of the twin verses.
My real question is, do you know for a fact that that's what it translates as, or is that just what someone's told you it translates as? And it really says, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Or...
Yeah, perfect.
I know for certain. One of my friends actually studied Japanese, and I'd spoken to somebody who studied Buddhist scripture who got me the quotation.
Oh, right, okay.
And had it confirmed before I went and had it tattooed.
As long as you trust them, yeah.
Just to make sure it didn't say like 2 spring rolls and egg fried rice or whatever. Yeah. So yes, yeah.
Spruglu Addict says, here's one for you guys. Day of the Triffids.
Oh,
now, are you talking about the original BBC series?
Yeah.
Well, that was really, really good. For suspense building and everything.
Yeah, and again, that's probably one that only had like 4 episodes, but felt like it was much longer.
it seemed to go on forever, didn't it? It seemed
Yeah,
a long, long
but
time.
all these things did when you were a kid.
Yeah, there's a fairly recent-ish film with not Gerard Butler. Who's the other guy? The other Scottish guy, Dougray Scott.
All right.
And it's probably, I don't know, 2006, 7, 8-ish maybe. So not that old. And that's actually quite good. But it plays the whole Triffid thing as more of a where they were definitely more planty in the TV show.
Yeah.
They really play more on the alien life.
Troughton Shard says 6 episodes, but I don't know if he's saying that there are only 6 episodes of it, or he's just taking the piss out of Fox.
Oh. Yes.
So whenever anyone says 6 episodes.
yeah, good point. I don't know. Somebody Googled that.
As a kid, the noise they made. It was just this whole scary thing that. I mean, going blind must be a terrible, scary thing anyway. But the fact that something nice is happening outside, so you look at it and then you wake up not being able to see.
Yeah.
That would scare the life out of you, wouldn't it? The fact that the only people that can see are the people that either couldn't see it because they were in operations or whatever at the time, or already blind, and then they could sort of handle things much better because they were already blind.
Yeah. I found it really scary as a kid. I found it really scary.
Kenneth seems to be fixated on your tattoo. He says, when did you get it? Did it hurt? And how many characters is it made up of?
Just off the top of my head, I couldn't remember how many characters, but I've had this one for what we in 2018. This about 6 years. This one, and various others at various different times. But yeah, this one I had about 6 years ago. Did it hurt? Well, that's subjective because they all hurt, but some people find them really, really uncomfortable, and some people don't. And it's a strange thing because unless the needle's going over a really sensitive area with a lot of nerve endings, I actually find the buzz of the tattoo gun really soothing, and I could literally sit there in the chair and just zone out, almost like I'm meditating. But for the hurt part of it, it's usually when they just do it like this one, when they're just doing the initial outline. It's kind of like a cat scratch. That's about as painful as it is. But when they're going over an area with lots of nerve endings, say like that bit there, I mean, if you pinch that bit just under your arm there, you realise you've got a lot of nerve endings there that you didn't realise you had. When they're going over that bit, it's kind of like a sudden, that takes you by surprise. But so if it's going over an area with a lot of nerve endings, you get a sudden shock.
I've always heard that an area close to the bone, like for example, like this part of your elbow where bone and skin are quite close to each other, not a lot of fat tissue or anything in between.
Well, you don't want them to be tattooing into the bone. That would
a lot of people say that's really painful, but I've not found that. If it's near the bone, there tends to be there doesn't tend to be as many nerve endings like your elbow sort of there. I mean, you can sort of stab at that with something sharp.
Don't do that now.
But you
and the viewers don't stab yourselves with sharp things, right? We don't condone that.
I'll leave that on to Fox, but no, you can pinch your skin there, and that doesn't hurt at all. I think most likely it's if people have something like that over the bone and it's repetitive and they're doing a lot of colouring in. It's probably the fact that it bruises over the course of doing the tattoo more so that causes discomfort. But no, I've never found anything near the bone uncomfortable. But again, it's all subjective because one of my tattooists said that she had a girl that used to come to her every 6 months without fail for a new tattoo, and every single time she would get herself really, really worked up, and she'd get 10 minutes into the tattoo and she'd pass out. And she did this every single time.
Did they finish? Or did they stop when you pass out? Or do they just keep going and take the opportunity to get it done really quick?
Well, no, there's a sort of a joke, tattoo joke thing where they used to say things like that, but you can't. I mean, if that happens,
Surely if you're saying something up front, saying I'm probably going to pass out, just keep going. I'm not conscious.
If it's a friend doing it at home, you can. But it's like I mean, they tell people like there are some things like don't get drunk before you have a tattoo, and this is because the alcohol thins your blood, and you bleed more profusely.
Right.
So where you might get a few little spots of blood, because it's obviously breaking, it's creating a scar. But spots of blood, if you've been drinking heavily beforehand, for one thing, you're likely going to end up throwing up or something because you've got yourself.
Well, I was off
and it's going to bleed more profusely. It's just going to make the tattooist's job harder.
Troughton Child says it was 6 episodes. He's got it on DVD. It wasn't anything to do with Fox.
It was.
Phil Kett says there are only 6 episodes of the original BBC version. He's got it here. LD says, I love the day of the Triffids. Me and my pal went to the pool and found plants that looked similar. Folks were mad when he put them all over the lawn. He said he was tying them to roller skates and dragging them around. I wonder why people were cross. Who'd have thought? Kenneth's worried about Vincent. He says, you look very pale.
What? No, it's just been a long day. I forget I spend 8 to 9 hours behind a computer screen. So
should you not be in front of it? Is it not harder to see it from behind?
Where's the monitor on his head like a helmet?
Troughton Child's going back into the depths of TV viewing, saying Quatermass. I remember the name, but never the series. I think that was before my time.
I certainly remember the name, but I don't.
Going back to UFO and that now, it's before me.
Was UFO the one where the aliens used to glow and disappear?
Was Quatermass not saying to do with UFO, wasn't
he? UFO was just a really bad special effect on it. What was the American show where it was a guy who it started out like it was a dark and stormy night, and this guy like discovered these aliens, and he was trying to prove the existence of these aliens. But at the end of every episode, they'd end up getting killed. But when they got killed, they sort of glowed red and then disappeared. So he could never actually prove that they existed. But it's sort of, because of a chance encounter, it become his life's work to prove that these aliens exist and they're among them.
Quatermass and the Pit film was 1967. The Quatermass Experiment was 1955. Quatermass and the Pit TV miniseries in 1958. Apparently there's a Quatermass TV miniseries in 1979 as well, but I don't remember that one either.
Was that with Richard Chamberlain by any chance?
It doesn't say that on any of them, no.
No.
The 1979 miniseries with John Mills, Simon McCorkindale.
Oh.
Don't know.
No, it's not what I was thinking of. I seem to remember watching a film that sounded something like that with Richard Chamberlain. That might be King Solomon's Mines, actually. I'm thinking of.
Spruglu's saying the littlest hobo now. That's completely different. Where we got from that? That's the little dog that
was the little
made things
dog.
better, or something, wasn't it?
It was like a coyote or a dog or something.
I preferred the more.
From town to town.
Yeah, I preferred the more up to date one. The Benji. Benji was the slightly more up to date version. It was again a little dog that used to go around and make people better.
Yeah. It's kind of, I suppose, like the whole Lassie thing, wasn't it? It was, it was that the dog was the connection of the story. It used to travel around from town to town and befriend somebody, but help fix something.
Yeah, Kenneth's saying, can I hold up the model in my spray booth? Yeah, it's that one I did earlier. You must have been late or early because you're this morning or tomorrow morning. I lose track. But yeah, that's the Dark Eldar Raider, apparently.
Jabba's sail barge.
Jabba's sail barge in mini scale. War hamsters, just primed in UMP gloss black at the moment. But Sunday I'll be doing another live stream, depending on when Fox does. If Fox is doing his Warhammer at 3 o'clock, then I'll nick the evening and do it. If he's not, then I'll probably do it at 3 o'clock anyway, just to fill the time. So I'll be painting a bit more of that live. I've signed up for this Patreon thing, so people can actually pay me money, real cash money for me to make stuff. But
Right.
so that, on the live stream, I'm doing live. Obviously, anyone can watch it live, not a problem at all. But once it's gone off live, it's going into my Patreon video bank, so you have to be a subscriber to me to watch it again, basically. But most of my builds are still going to be normal YouTube watching, but I'm going to put a few up behind the paywall, as it were, because paint's expensive.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. If you're doing something regularly as well, like that, you're getting through your sort of consumables. You're wearing out brushes and you're using paint, and that's reasonable.
Spruglu says, "Sing the theme tune." To what?
To what?
And we're not allowed to. YouTube get cross because we're all that good at singing and producing sounds that it would sound identical to the recorded version, and we'd get nobbled by a copyright. Yes. Kenneth says, "Is it on Patreon?" The first build of that is on mine. Yep. But I say, well, I don't know. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday is probably like 5 o'clock in the morning on Thursday or something for you down in Australia, isn't it? I don't know what time it would be.
What time zone are they on compared to us?
It's like 3 weeks ago or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's still summer there, so it might be just the end of winter. Or I'm very, very bad with time zones.
They're right the other side of the world, so would it be a 12-hour difference?
I don't think it is. I think that'd be too easy. I think what time is it, Kenneth? Mike Mountain says plus 10 hours. So that makes it 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, so if I do one at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then that's 1 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, you probably won't watch it live.
Yeah, that'd be 1 a.m. on a Monday, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's got to go. Great show. Glad to caught up with you all. Thanks for asking his tattoo questions. It's 7 a.m. on Thursday, apparently, for Kenneth. Oh, good morning, Kenneth. Have a nice day tomorrow.
Have a nice day at work.
If anything exciting happens, let us know, because then we'll be ready for it when it happens to us.
Yeah, we're talking to somebody from the future.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, isn't it?
Back to the future.
Yeah.
It's got to go back to the future.
Because is it always in the future if you go that? Well, if you go to it by going to America first, would it be yesterday? It depends which way you go.
Aren't
you in the future as well, Vincent?
See, this is why I don't like temporal mechanics.
What time is it there?
What, over here?
Yeah.
An hour ahead of you.
So it's gone 10 o'clock now?
Yeah.
Nothing's happened in the last hour that we should know about. Oh, and you've been here, so you wouldn't really know, but... I know the world doesn't end in the next hour because Kenneth's still there tomorrow morning, so we're all right tonight, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We know that Australia's okay.
Australia's okay for the next.
Fair, I mean,
probably all right. It's a small world after all.
Godzilla could be due.
Kenneth just typed in lots of strange characters, so something might have happened in Australia. But we'll bear in mind, in the next 10 hours, if things go bad, then we know we've got pre-advanced warning of it.
True.
He's going to tell us the lottery. Oh, he's going to say the lottery numbers are, and then it must have been the internet police probably not letting him talk about the future too much.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Phil Lewis says the problem with temporal mechanics is they take forever to fix your car. Right, well, we've been an hour. I thought this might be an hour, so it's been an hour or just over. So if there's anything else anybody wants to talk about, or if there's anything else happening in the chat that you want us to talk about, now's your chance, because otherwise I'm going to press the button and turn it off. Because I've got the power. I have the power of the button. I'm not used to it. On Mondays, I don't get the power of the button. So I've got to make the most of having the power now.
What's it like having all that power at your fingers?
It's quite heady. I'll give you that. I'm sitting down, but if I did stand up, it might,
might topple over from the strain.
Jeff Longman's in is saying, wait, what? End of the world in 10 hours? No, I don't think it's actually the end of the world. I thought it was, but I think we're okay now. I think it's just the internet police or the temporal police stopping Kenneth from giving us the lottery numbers for tomorrow.
How rude.
Well, I suppose if they do that for us, then they got to do it for everyone. And then everyone would win, you know, like you buy your £1 lottery card and you'd win 27p. So
that'd be really disappointing, wouldn't it?
It would really.
I know you got all 6 numbers, but everyone else in the world already also had.
You get 10 fucking pence.
You don't get your money back. Here's a penny. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much.
But you wouldn't check, would you? You'd know you got the numbers and you'd spend loads on the internet and your credit cards and stuff. And then you'd find out you've won £2.50.
Yeah, fair point that.
Right. Anthony Eccles has a question. He says, what do you guys think of Revel reselling Bandai Star Wars kits in Europe? I think it's great.
Fantastic.
I think it's lovely. It's amazing. The fact that we can get stuff without having to pay is amazing.
About blinking time.
Are they reboxing them as Revel then, or?
We believe so. They haven't done it yet. It's been announced that they've got the rights to do it, and pre-orders and things are happening. But
well, I'm thinking it's going to be like this partnership, like the Larry Tanita partnership, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'd be.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people going to be really happy about it because obviously in the UK, you know, you're getting Bandai kits is a bit of a nightmare, isn't it?
That's the good thing, isn't it? Because now you can get the perfect grade Millennium Falcon with the lighting kit for the
$299.
Yeah,
but it's going to upset some people that have already bought it and paid over the odds.
500 quid for it. They're going to be going.
That's the way it happens, isn't it? Spruglu Addict says he's got a question. He says, "Does Fox? No, the power of the button's gone to my head." No, I haven't told him, and he's busy with other things, so he's not here. So, no, don't tell him because I'm still hopeful that at some point they might trust me with a button once. But if he finds out that I can't handle the power, then he won't.
It's so live on air now. There's no going back.
Yeah, but he won't watch it. It's fine.
I thought he was going to have the power on Monday, but he didn't.
Trout and Chard says, "Wait, what? I think he didn't know." Yeah, basically, Revel seems to have the rights to Bandai Star Wars range, possibly all of it. Certainly
they've announced the perfect grade, haven't they?
Yeah, probably the perfect grade has been announced as being a pre-order. E-models have it. E-models, emodels.co.uk.
Not now, Christopher.
Yeah, unless it's going to be Disney Star Wars, and then it can write off. He says, "No, I don't have a problem with Disney Star Wars. It's Star Wars. It's great. It's not ruined my childhood. It's fine. I like Solo. I'll stand up and say it."
You know, I really enjoyed Solo. I've watched it twice, and I've got to say I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It wasn't great, but it was good enough. It was fine.
It was. I've kind of, having watched episodes 1, 2, and 3.
I liked them
which
as well.
Were very, very disappointing.
No, I liked them.
One should not exist.
One was fine. When I watched it, it was fine because I'd waited so long for another Star Wars film, and it was a Star Wars film, and it was great. The problem so many people have with 1, especially, but 2 and 3, is you watch the original ones when you were a kid, and you watch this one when you're a grown-up, and you expected it to be a grown-up film, and it wasn't. It was never going to be a grown-up film. It's another film for kids. As long as you're a little kid at heart, which I still am, then you go and enjoy it and enjoy it for what it is.
That's the problem I had, because I remember the Star Wars films, watching them when I was a kid and really enjoying them. But also, they went from out-and-out family fantasy to a little bit of a darker theme by Jedi.
Yeah, well, Empire got very dark, didn't it?
Father-son thing and all that business, and it was from a kid's perspective, it was a little bit dark. That.
Yep.
And then when the new one came out, it was all glitzy and glamorous and loads of CGI and everything else, and it just felt a bit.
Yeah, but then again,
it got dark again towards the third one.
Yeah, I mean, the third one got very, very dark. He cut his arms and legs off.
Well, yes.
Much darker than that.
Yeah, you have a point there. To be honest, I think that was probably the best bit of all of those films, was the fight between Obi-Wan and I mean, not just because of chopping his legs off in a lava pit, but the fact that they were actually stood on a rock on top of lava fighting was in itself.
All of the prequel fights were better than anything that we'd ever seen before. I mean, episode 1, the Darth Maul fight was excellent. You watch it and it was amazing. When you consider the only fights we'd seen before were two people hitting each other with sticks.
Yeah. Did you see the interview with Mark Hamill, where he was saying he was really, really hacked off when he first saw episode 1, because when they filmed the original Star Wars and they were looking at having to do the rotoscoping essentially by hand, they were having to paint each frame. It said George Lucas gave them all instructions that they had to fight with these lightsabers as if they were like heavy medieval swords.
Yep.
So they couldn't do any sort of fancy jumping around or any of this business, and they had to sort of fight with them like they were big heavy medieval swords. And then he says he watches episode 1, and they're sort of like twirling them around and leaping about, and he's like, "Oh, come on, that's not fair. I wanted to do that."
Yeah, I mean, the films are only 30 years apart. Things are going to change, so...
Yeah, I mean, the technology divide there is vast, isn't it? But I did find it funny as well that Ewan McGregor apparently pissed off Qui-Gon, what's his name? I forgot his name. But apparently annoyed him because during a lot of the practice fight scenes, when they were filming the clips and what have you, Ewan McGregor kept making the lightsaber noises.
You'd sort of have to, wouldn't you?
But can you blame him?
Yeah, I can't blame him at all. Cerebro seems to be channeling Fox, saying that he doesn't like Jar Jar.
I think that's a universal hatred. Really,
again, I don't have a problem with Jar Jar. It was
Jar Jar bloody
the item of comic relief, which basically the droids were in the original series.
Yeah. I just don't think he had anything.
The new ones as well.
He had no place in that film.
Funniest parts in episode 1 are the droids messing about, innit?
Yeah. Well, have you seen the fan theory about Jar Jar being the Sith Lord?
Yeah.
And it's very convincing.
It makes a lot of sense, Kelly. You know?
I think that was probably the intention, but he got slated so much for Jar Jar that he sort of backed himself out of a corner and said, "Oh no, don't worry about him, and we won't make him the star of the third film." But it's very convincing. There's a lot of bits that work.
I've heard about it, but I've not watched the video that explains it.
There's several videos that explain it. There's several that have clips from the films, and the amount of work that would have to go into faking them or making them work. There's parts where the Jar Jar on screen is saying the lines of another character on set, a real person character on set, just before the person says it, as if it's sort of mind control as to, "I'm making you talk like this." And it fits and it works. And why would they actually bother animating a 3D head to do that unless there was a potential reason coming up?
An underlying reason, yeah.
There are some bits that are like, he jumped over the bridge from here because he fell down here and he ended up over there. And that's just continuity. That doesn't convince me in the slightest. Things go wrong in films and they flip films and But
the thing is, where the biggest hint that you can see in the movies is he's basically the one that kicks off the Clone Wars. He's the one that's preaching like, "Oh yeah, send out the soldiers and whatnot." Yeah,
well, he's the one that initiates the vote and everything and puts Palpatine in charge. The one line that I don't like in The Phantom Menace is the one about the communications disruption. It's like, the only thing this could mean is a blockade. It's like, well, no, there's lots of things. It could have been someone's unplugged it, or someone's not paid the meter, or there's lots of reasons that it could be. Don't jump to that one. I know it's the right one, but you didn't know that.
Somebody's forgot to put 50 pence in the meter.
Yeah, it's like, this can only mean one thing: invasion. It's like, no, rubbish. That could mean lots of things. Maybe someone's watching Netflix, or your internet's crashed, or
space Netflix.
It happens.
Really. This could only mean one thing: doing a live stream again.
Exactly. Yeah. Timber's about. It says too much CGI. Yeah, CGI is one of those things that, when Phantom Menace came out, it was hitting its own stride, and was there and available, and I wouldn't say easy, but easier than doing it a lot of other ways. So I think they did go overboard on it somewhat. But
Yeah.
I watched the recently, and it still stands up. It still looks amazing.
Yeah, you can't blame them for doing it because it was a relatively new thing and it was exciting, wasn't it? And you know full well that had that technology been about back when they filmed A New Hope and all the others,
yeah,
they would have used it extensively in those as well.
Well, the only reason they used models was because that was how they did it.
Yeah, I don't begrudge the CGI. One thing I really liked about the 4, 5, and 6 was it was things like the dirtying up the ships. So all the rebel ships were sort of, they were like, you know, they were rebels, they were outcasts. They couldn't just pop to a garage and have a wash and brush up of the ship and have shiny new bits put on. So all the ships were a bit dirtied and a bit used looking.
Star Wars has always been a used universe, and Star Trek's always been a new, shiny, perfect universe, hasn't it? Troughton Child's going off to bed, guys. He says, night, all much fun was had. Good night.
Good night.
And, see you next
with episodes 1, 2, and 3, and obviously it's before the huge Empire sort of blow up and all that kind of business. But everything's just a bit too shiny for me.
Oh yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
it's still things are still beaten up, aren't they? And it's not Star Trek shiny.
No, Star Trek was all spick and span.
No.
Star Trek was all perfectly clean and lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Except for DS9, but that's different.
No web.
One of my favourite next gen episodes was the one where they find Scotty in the Eternal Loop. And there's a bit where it goes to the holodeck. Yeah, it goes to the holodeck and he asks to see the bridge of the original Enterprise. And when you see it, you think, oh my God, how bad does that
Rubbish, isn't
look? It looks so cheesy because you forget how basic it looks compared
I've
to
got the PlayStation Bridge Commander game in VR. And it's really, I mean, you put on the headset and you're on the bridge of this new shiny spanky ship that hasn't, I can't remember the name of, but it's all holographic displays and everything like Discovery now. But you can actually go onto the bridge of the original Enterprise 1701 and you can't fly the thing. I mean, you can fly the thing, but none of the buttons are labeled. You're just sitting in front of a panel that's got 20 buttons on it, all the same color. And you just, I press that one, and all of a sudden you fire a photon torpedo, and you press the one next to it, and you go up a bit. You press the one next to it, and you go into reverse, and you press the one next to it, and it puts the kettle on or something. But
yeah, so you just got
how difficult would it be when you design this ship to label it? But I think when I've seen interviews of the cast when they said they were filming it, that they invented in their own minds how the thing would fly and what each button would do to try and keep it set.
Yeah. Well,
from episode to episode.
That's probably where the parody in Galaxy Quest comes from.
Yeah.
When they beam them all up and they sit the guy in the pilot's chair, and he says, "Well, I don't know what to do." He's like, "Yeah, but we built this based on your hand movements on the historical documents." So he's got to sort of try and remember what he did and figure out.
I pressed this first and then I did this. Yeah. Spruglu says, "Sorry, gents, I hate Star Trek. I'm a true Jedi." It's not that. It's not an either or thing. It's all good sci-fi. You can do both. It's fine.
On that theme, though, have any of you watched what's the one with Seth MacFarlane?
Andromeda? No, not Andromeda.
Orville.
Yeah, Orville.
Yeah, I've watched a few of them. I keep meaning to watch the rest of them, but I haven't got around to it yet. But yeah, I liked it.
About 6 or 7 episodes of the first series, and they're quite good.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be sillier.
Yeah, I was actually, but it's quite a good mix, I think.
Yeah, it's got enough seriousness that it stands on its own, but there is enough silly bits with the gooey alien that they keep walking through.
Yeah. But I've heard as well that the intention of it all along has been to have a loose tie-in to the Star Trek universe.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I don't know if that's true, but I have read that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of it's definitely a parody of and referencing rather than
an
out and out. Yeah, but no, I like it. It's good.
Yeah,
I will go and
I
watch
thought-
the rest of it at some point.
Yeah, but after you something like A Million Ways to Die in the West, you expect it to be far, far sillier, and obviously Family Guy and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
you?
he's got a history of being very strange and admittedly quite fun. I'd say Family Guy, I liked the first season or two, but then it just got too silly and I didn't bother with it. And I think
I never
too
actually, that's one of those things that I
swearing
never
for no reason that annoys me.
Yeah, I just saw the odd one of those rather than watching them religiously, as it were. But
Yeah.
I find
this
that
the
is
Star Wars one's quite good though.
Phil Kett says Orville was more Star Trek than Discovery is. Discovery, again, I liked as a show, but I don't know. I mean, they obviously have an overall plan of it. If you've not watched all of the first season, then things happen that tie it together a bit more closely than it seemed to be at the beginning. But I don't know why they bothered calling them Klingons. They could have just come up with a different alien race that
please
might have been similar.
Klingons. I
If
mean,
you're going to have Klingons in a Star Trek show, then they should look like Klingons, and not necessarily the original series Klingons to everything else Klingons, because that was just, they changed it.
Yeah,
For good
you
reason.
did get the in the Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
There were Klingons in that, and there's actually a flashback episode in Next Gen, and
They do mention it. It's sort of
and
like
they
we don't
mention,
talk about it, and
somebody sort of looks at Worf and is like, "What happened?" Because they look quite different. They've not got the wrinkly foreheads and everything.
Space Nine, the
And
flashback
they
episode.
make a bit of a joke of it, don't they? But
yeah.
But no, I mean, a Star Trek universe. There's a whole galaxy out there. They could have made up any.
Yeah.
So
I know that they do it deliberately, and that they are, a lost tribe or something, but it just seemed a bit too. I think you're doing it because you don't want to lose fans by saying that we've got this new team that we're bringing in, but we've got to tie it into. We haven't got an Enterprise for one thing, so we're going to have something that's going to tie it into being Star Trek, Klingon to the next best thing. But I didn't see the need for it. Earl D says Discovery felt like Mass Effect. Yeah, I can see that.
And Enterprise, I think somewhere in the middle of the last season actually explains what happens to the Klingons. Basically, it's all Khan Noonien Singh's fault.
Yeah,
Not the evil clone, but the original Doctor Singh.
Sprue Addict's saying that Orville, you mean the green duck that wished he could fly, but he can't, says Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you can. Yeah, and what was the name of the monkey? What was the name of the monkey that hated Orville? It was not Knuckles, something. Someone will know.
Might have been. Something like that, though.
Something like that.
Knuckles does ring a bell, actually.
Cuddles. There you go. Spruglu's in with Cuddles. Yep.
Oh, right. Okay,
Cuddles the monkey. That was it. Yeah.
Harrison Orville. Good grief.
Did he die?
Rod Hull and Eve, do you remember that?
I know Rod Hull died. Did Keith Harris die yet? Or is he still about? I know a couple of years ago it seemed like all the entertainers were dying, but
I don't know.
Or they're getting done for sex charges.
And who was it who did Spit the Dog? That was
Bob Carroll G's.
Bob Carroll G's. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dad says I hate that duck.
With his big Tom Selleck moustache.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Tiswas, wasn't it? He was on that.
Yes. Yeah.
With Chris Thingy, Tarrant.
You don't really see ventriloquists that much nowadays, do you?
No, not so much. There was that guy that did the Ahmed, the suicide bomber.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah, the skull, the turban. Yeah, I kill you.
I kill you.
I kill you.
Yeah, but no, not so much anymore.
Yeah, but no, there's an American guy that's got that like grumpy old man. You see him every now and again. Can't remember what they call him, but you know, like the two grumpy men on Muppets.
Yep.
There's an American that's got like a grumpy old man puppet, and he's quite funny.
Spruglu says most 80s TV stars are in prison. Yeah, you're probably about right.
Yeah.
And Reese says Jeff Dunham. I don't know if that is that the suicide bomber bloke. Is that?
Don't know.
I can't remember who. I can only remember Ahmed, the suicide bomber. I kill you,
Ahmed. Bed.
Yeah, I need a drink to say it properly.
I get you.
Walter, it says, is that? I'm not sure. The trouble is, chat's a little bit delayed to what we're talking about, so we jump around so much that we can't keep track of what's what.
When you think back to, you look at like Rod Hull and Emu, and you think back to some of the stuff that they did on the Rod Hull show, with Emu attacking people.
Yeah, you could do it now.
You actually wouldn't be allowed to do that now on TV.
No.
You know,
All right. Yeah, Reese says, yeah, he did Ahmed and Walter. Walter was the old guy.
You'd have to have everyone sign a disclaimer in case they got injured by Emu, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, there's always a chance, wasn't it? Didn't his son take over or something? Or was that Sooty?
That was Sooty.
Sooty was taken over by somebody, and yeah.
It was Matthew Corbett.
Matthew
Corbett's son. It was his dad. His dad used to do it, and when I was a kid, it was he had a beard, didn't he? But it was his dad who used to do it before. I know that's Matthew Corbett. But Sooty Sweep, Sue and Bungle.
Spruglu says Rod Hull fell off his roof and died. Yeah, he was fixing his area, wasn't he? He shouldn't take an emu up with him. That was where he went wrong.
Bungle, that wasn't Sooty and Sweep, was it? That was
Yeah, it was Rod Hull fell off his roof. Jeffrey from Rainbow died last week, didn't he?
Yeah, Rainbow.
That was a very strange show, right? Rainbow.
Yeah, because he always wore pajamas to bed, but then walked around all day naked.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, what was Zippy anyway? I don't understand it. No, the hippo was George. George was a hippo.
I do remember finding it funny where they used to like zip his mouth every now.
I think that's just cruel.
Oh, Jeffrey, you are so funny.
Pretty sure you wouldn't be allowed to do that now either. That's definitely assault, isn't it? Zipping someone's mouth shut.
Oh, well, that was S&M.
Yeah, they'd probably pay good money for it. Yeah.
There were some strange things going on. There were.
Mike says, yeah, adjusting the TV aerial. Yeah, he fell off the roof.
Blimey.
Yeah.
I remember reading about that.
Yeah, it was in a storm or something, I think. But I mean, he must have been getting on a bit anyway. He must have been like 70 or 80.
Yeah, it's got to have been 60s, maybe even getting towards his 70s.
It's probably 70s, but yeah.
Because it wasn't cool when I was a kid and I watched him on TV. You know, he must have been well into his 50s then.
Yeah. It's all sad now, isn't it? We need something happy to end on.
Yeah.
What's something happy to end on? Because we can't all end on people being dead.
We need a suggestion in the chat.
In the chat. Cheer us up before we go, because I was going to go half hour ago and I didn't. my hour-long show has become a 90-minute show, and without any ad breaks as well. You got Spruger Addict says Pigeon Street. Yep, there you go. Although I hate pigeons.
Brenda Ghost.
I don't know why pigeons have got their PR agent must be amazing, because they're basically just flying rats, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And if anybody goes down the high street and see a bunch of pigeons there, the kids will run through them and they'll fly off. It would be great. If it was a bunch of rats there, they wouldn't get the same level of activity, would they? People wouldn't run through them screaming and be happy because they ran away.
They wouldn't be seen as cute, would they?
No, they're not seen as cute. I don't know. Pigeons obviously had a good PR agent that got them that level of. I don't know if it's because they're homing pigeons, and so you don't get homing rats.
What was the other one? Swap the pigeon. What was that one?
Bastard and Muttley.
That's it, man.
Oh, yes, yeah. Wacky races.
Yeah.
Wacky races.
Oh, there we go. Ken Dodd's dad. Dead, not. Ken Dodd's dad's dog's not dead. I don't know. Is that just a tongue twister, or is there an actual story behind that? Banana Man, yep. I don't know. Did Banana Man, is that? I think it's only one word. I think it's Banana Man. It's not Banana Man.
It is. It was all one title, wasn't it?
Spider-Man's hyphenated.
What was his name? It was Eric something. What was his name?
Eric Banana.
The young lad was Eric somebody, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he lived at 123 Acadia Avenue or something, wasn't it? Super Ted.
Can't remember.
Zippy's in jail now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to know what Zippy got put in jail for, but there was an episode of that on YouTube where it's sort of a adult themed version. It's very strange.
Yeah, there's the twangers thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's the well-known
It's very,
twanger.
very, very worrying about. We were playing with my balls, and have a look for it. I'm not going to put a link to it.
That's the twangers one.
Yeah, I
isn't
think
it?
it's the same thing. It's like an hour-long episode or a 30-minute episode or something, but I think it was a real thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they must have filmed it as a kind of
And he
it'd
joked
be
sort
like
of,
an outtake of
Yeah.
today, wouldn't it?
But
Because they
it would
couldn't have
cost
been
them to
that
film an
naive.
entire episode like that, wouldn't it? They wouldn't have done that for a laugh, because it would have all gone on film and been expensive.
Probably, but I don't know. Maybe they have a special deal with certain adult entertainment shows
Maybe.
stores.
We'll
But
see
no,
what
the
Zippy
man was
episode
Eric
goes.
Wimp.
Eric Wimp. Yeah, there you go. 29 Acacia Road.
Yes, yeah.
And he likes the
Do you remember Super Ted?
Super Ted, yeah.
Super
And-
Ted was cool.
His friend was Spotty, wasn't it? The alien.
Yes, yeah. He had rockets in his feet, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that. And where he was an alien, he can have anything he likes. Yeah. Okay, well, that's as good a place as any to finish.
I think so.
Thank you for coming and joining me, and thank all the viewers for coming and watching our drivel.
I'll see you later.
Thank you for the invitation and the
Yeah,
chit-chat.
we'll do it again at some point. It might not be weekly, but occasional. When I feel the need and when everyone else can get together. We'll see. Might have different people joining us. Might have the same people joining us again. Might have the same people and different people, or
Yeah,
But-
who knows, really?
who knows who will be here. Stay tuned for the next issue of An Evening with the Gang. Thanks all for watching, and anyone got anything saying goodbye or
Bye.
goodbye? Yeah.
Thanks, guys, and we'll see you in another one.
Yeah, next time I'll
sometime.
try not to clash with any other internet people that are doing stuff, so we'll figure out. It might be a different time slot, but we'll work something out. Keep tuned to the channel, and we'll let you know when something is upcoming.
So that people in Australia can watch it at a sensible time.
Yeah, they can re-watch it later, and right. Good night, all. I'm going to click the stop broadcast button now, or get the power to press the button.
All right.
Power.
Night, all.